All right, our trivia question has stumped us. The Saints will pick 12th in the final round of the 2016 NFL Draft. When was the last time the Saints' first-round pick did not come from a Power 5 conference school? Who did we forget? Who? Kyle Turley in 1998, San Diego State. There you go. The musician himself, strumming his guitar. Always be remembered for the Jets game.
Yeah.
Even though he was a good player,
Yeah.
Kyle Turley. There you go. Good answer. Saints like to pick guys early from teams that have played good competition. That's obvious. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. And it's time now for our hot seat segment, where we place Brian Ellie Walsh on the hot seat with a hot topic of the day. And the question is very simple. Pelicans changes. Should they come now or soon or after the season? Brian, you say what?
Dr. Trahan, it's always a pleasure, and this is a great topic, great question. Good job, you guys, for coming up with this. I'm for grinning and bearing it and getting through the season. Right now, if you look at they're 14th in the conference standings at 11-25. Horrible record. You can't, you can't excuse that, okay? But they're only 4.5 games out of the 8th seed, which is held by Utah right now at 17-20. Houston has gotten its swagger on. They're in number 7 right now at 19-19. And the Pels are struggling along. And now you go, well, what makes you think that they're going to suddenly push that button and get it going again? Well, I think the teams in front of them will have a lot to do with that, but just stay local and stay with this team. I think I think if Evans and Holiday get their swagger on, Ryan Anderson keeps hitting 3-ball, and they get some help from the bench. AD's got to stay healthy. This club is 0-4 this year without AD on the court. So I think when you look, you got Evans and Anderson's contracts expire after the year. Hopefully that'll bring them some money. I'd rather this team eat those contracts, absorb that hit and have that money to play with in free agency during the offseason. Anderson, you can't trade him, all right, because of what he means to filling in for AD, and AD's, he's shown that he can't stay on the court for a lot of, all the time, so you need Ryan Anderson. If I'm going to move anybody, Holiday show that he's back healthy now. He's back in a full rotation, probably back in the starting lineup soon. Here's who if you're going to move, okay, I'd like to move Eric Gordon. And I know this may sound strange, but I wouldn't even mind moving Tyreke Evans, because you could get something for him, and you can move this lineup, you can push some people around. But the bottom line for me is stay with this lineup, wait till the off season, and hopefully AD will go to the Olympics and convince some free agent, some big guy that wants to come play with him, come play with us and make something happen. Stay with it, grin and bear it.
Well, I would say, you got some, like the Knicks. They got some guys that, Lopez and those guys, you can get 1 or 2 big men, and that's what I think the Pelicans need. They got guards, they got forward. I just think they need 1 or 2 big men to go beside Davis, and he let him play power forward. But, I hear what something the coaches say about him, that he's not hustling, and he don't play hard all the time, and he more of a prima donna. Okay, all that's cool, but get the right pieces around him and then see what he do.
Well, the key is this, is you got to find, is Tyreke Evans the right guy for Alvin Gentry's offense? I don't think so, personally. You got to, this is a Golden State kind of offense. You got to move the ball, and Tyreke Evans isn't built that way. So I'm just saying, okay, whatever happens this offseason, you got to find guys that fit this system.
But, Gordon, you can't move him for contract reason.
Yeah.
Who won't want that contract? So, they got their hands tied. A
Right.
lot like
They
the
do.
Saints.
They do.
The Saints got their hands tied. So both teams got their hand tied with contracts.
Yeah, I agree. Kenny, I'm done.
You're done?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have my say. Grinning and bearing? How about frowning and caring? Are you kidding me? Nobody's coming to the games. They're not winning. They're in a conference that's far less than it was a year ago, and you've got basically the same players back, albeit injured to start the season in some cases, and minus Quincy Pondexter now. They should be at least where they were last year at this stage, and they're not, because of the conference they play in. The reasons are plentiful. Players have not performed up to their expected capability, And the coach and general manager bear a lot of responsibility for this roster that they put together. They basically said from the start, we just need a different conductor for the band. It's my opinion that Monty Williams maxed out on this team. He got what he could out of this team last year. That's who they were. Could they possibly win a couple more games and move up a spot or two in the West this year? Sure, and I thought they would. Injuries certainly contributed to where they are now. But that's a very old excuse. Guys have been back for quite some time. As for the suggestion of moving players, Ricky's right. You can't move Eric Gordon. Everybody knows his contract will expire, and he's descended as a player. What's his value? He doesn't guard. He's a catch-and-shoot guy and nothing else. Tyreke Evans, he's a system guy at best. Guy that can drive and score. He's a shoot first, ask questions later guy, and he's a tweener. What's really his best position? I don't know that anybody's figured that out yet. Ryan Anderson, he's your second best player, and he's a reserve. What does that say about your team? Drew Holiday, everybody knows he can't be what he used to be because of the chronic injury that's going to plague him the rest of his career. He's a good player and a great guy and a keeper, but I don't think he'll ever be an elite player again. So that leaves you with this. Management. What do you do with your coach and GM? Changes are coming. The question was now or later. If you frown and you care, those changes will come sooner rather than later. When we return in just a moment, we'll talk about college football and the national championship matchup as Sports NOLA TV continues.